I am honored to introduce my friend and fellow Bellevue School District student, Izayiah Baldauf. Similar to myself, he grew up in the Bellevue School District. He will be speaking on behalf of the beneficial opportunities he's had at Newort High School.
I literally washed up into the Bellevue School District when my mom and I were flooded out of our home in Snoqualmie. I was the personification of a fish out of water. The triracial son of a single mom surfacing in a school district with one of the wealthiest zip codes in America. Yes, I said triracial, African American, Puerto Rican, and Irish. A lot of things had to happen. A lot of things had to happen to take me from a struggling 7-year-old newcomer to the person speaking before you today. I started second grade at Woodridge Elementary, far behind the other kids. To encourage me to read, Miss Jan, my second grade teacher, she took me to the library and had me pick out a book. I picked a Percy Jackson book, just like this one. For those of you who don't know, Percy Jackson is a fictional demigod with ADHD and dyslexia. Like Percy Jackson, I struggled. I couldn't read well enough to get through the first page. Now, Percy Jackson may have had mythological powers, but I had Miss Jan. Her support took me from last in the class to an astounding moment months later when she told me I had moved to the top of the class in reading. Now, you might think I was too young to feel inspired, but I wasn't too young to know what it was like to be proud of doing something well. I went on to read all 5 Percy Jackson books. Being proud of accomplishing things felt good, and the teachers at Tyee Middle School encouraged me to reach for the possible and to not settle for the probable. But in 8th grade, I started to worry about the rigors of high school, and the memory of being last in my class began to creep into my thoughts. And so, to the list of Miss Jan and Percy Jackson, I added another superhero of sorts, Avid. The official description of AVID, Advancement via Individual Determination, says it is aimed at students who are from groups traditionally underrepresented in higher education. Let's see. African American, Puerto Rican, and Irish. Yeah, I'd say that's traditionally underrepresented. And I sure am individually determined. Now, I remember waiting for my invitation to arrive, and when it did, my mom and I immediately started doing mock interviews. We sat on the couch, and she asked me questions like, what makes you a good candidate for AVID? And how would you benefit from AVID? AVID's mission is to close the achievement gap and prepare all students for college. In AVID, I learned how to take notes and organize them. Okay, so I failed my first binder check, but my AVID teacher, Mr. Vallis, he helped me create a system using folders that worked for me. The most important thing about AVID was that I learned to be comfortable asking questions and to speak in front of others without feeling afraid. One day, I was giving a presentation, and in it, I mentioned that my dad had died. Now, I never really knew him, but I still got emotional. Mr. Vallis asked me if I wanted to stop, and I said, no, I need the grade. And right there, in my AVID class, I talked about my dad for the first time. It was a huge moment for me. Once I opened up in class, I started talking more about my family about my father, and I learned to talk about all sorts of difficult subjects. I entered Newport with few male role models, but that changed once I joined BOOM. BOOM stands for Breaking Out of the Margins and brings black and brown male students in contact with professional and successful men with similar cultures. I finally saw other kids who looked like me. Okay, they didn't rock pink hair, but the resemblance was close enough. Mr. Shamari Jones, the director of equity, brought together kids from around the district to a conference at Bellevue College. There, we talked about how to advocate for ourselves in a world where long-standing embedded biases exist. Really, beyond Obama, I hadn't seen a lot of black men in leadership roles. Through BOOM, I came to realize I can be the one to fill the leadership gap. Now, there is no way I can fill any leadership gap or become a role model without going to college. As of now, I want to go to culinary school and create flavors that reflect my Irish, Puerto Rican, and African American heritage. I have no clue what that will taste like, but Thanks to college research program Naviance, I have found schools that offer culinary and business degrees, and I will be well prepared to figure it out. There is a new culinary trend just waiting to be happened, and a tri-racial food empire ready to be launched. And I'm the guy to do it, don't you agree? Now, I talked about Avid, Boom, and Naviance because they are all funded by the Bellevue Schools Foundation. These 3 programs took me from a second grader with an uncertain future to, well, this. My mom moved us to the Bellevue School District because she wanted me to have a chance to succeed, and she knew we couldn't do it alone. We both needed this school district and this foundation. We needed Miss Jan, and we needed Mr. Vallis and Mr. Shamari Jones, and the dozens of other teachers and staff members who nurtured me. To each of you out there, thank you for giving all students in the Bellevue School District a chance to thrive no matter how we got here. And to my mom, seated somewhere out there, a special thank you for being here today, as you have been every day. I could have easily remained adrift after the flood, but with your unwavering belief in me, I will continue to navigate all uncharted waters confidently through my senior year and beyond. Thank you.
Okay, stay standing for a second. Stay standing for a second. Even before Isaiah read about Percy Jackson, by the way, I read all of those books with my daughter, so I know exactly where you're coming from. He had a crusader in his life named Miss Jan, who was his second grade teacher, as you heard. And given how eloquently he spoke today, we thought that Miss Jan should be here to join him. Isaiah, Miss Jan. So, I will just simply say, that is why we give.